We came here to go on vacation. We did not come here thinking we were going to find an apartment. We knew in Toulouse, as beautiful as Toulouse is, we immediately knew this is not for us. Nice wasn't right for us, unbeknownst to us. We were like the last ones to know that Nice wasn't going to be right for us. We had to pivot. We were destined to be in Annecy, and I have never in all my life, and I live in a really beautiful part of Northern California, in all my life, I have never, ever felt so relaxed and happy and filled with just gratitude every single time I walk out the door.
Welcome, I'm your host Deborah, a French native teacher for expats over 50. This is episode 9 of Say Bonjour to Your New Life. Today, Christy is back with us, and if you missed our first conversation in episode 8, you can always go back and catch up. But this one stands on its own. In this episode, we go deeper. Journaling, identity, learning to let go, and how life abroad can transform you, even when it's hard. Let's dive in.
I can't even tell you, this place is, now, it swims with tourists. Oh my word. Annecy is one, it's like Venice. It is the Venice of the Alps, but you know, I just kind of stay indoors when it's super, super crowded like that. But like right now, it's, you know, there's hardly anybody here because it's the dead of winter. So I'm enjoying that very much. But, you know, like I said, we've got the river in front of us. We've got the lake over here. We're surrounded by the Alps. We go to Chamonix. Geneva is a 45-minute bus ride away. We take the blah, blah bus or the Flix bus. So we flew to Dubai. We've flown to Paris. We've taken the train to Paris. We've gone to different parts of Switzerland. Like, it's just a really great place. Now, for those of you who want to put Annecy on your list, you should definitely come here and check it out. But I will tell you, because of the proximity to Geneva, there are many, many people who work in Switzerland and make the money in Switzerland, and then they live in France because it's significantly more affordable here. So you have major competition.
Frontière is border, and les frontaliers are the people who live by the border.
Aha, okay. So just know that as tense as the market was, that's the term they use in France, as tense as the market was in Nice, Annecy is also extremely tense. It's not impossible, but it's tense. So anyway, that's how we ended up here. And then the thing that I love probably the most, besides just the physical characteristics of this place, is the people are so friendly. I finally have French friends. There are.
I wanted to ask, les amis français met some French people, and you didn't meet French people in Nice?
No, weirdly, no. There's a lot of Americans, a lot of Brits. There's a lot of expats in Nice, and it just. My environment, it was literally like living in the United States. The neighborhood we lived in, Flâner, which is a beautiful neighborhood of Nice. We were invited to a 4th of July party, and it was just for our neighborhood, just like a 4-block radius or 5-block radius of Flâner. There were 15 people there, and I had never met any of them. They were all Americans. So
Expat bubble.
It is a bubble. And up here, like we work out, there's a gym that has an indoor pool. And for my shoulder, I've been doing a lot of swimming. And I have met 3 women. One of them doesn't speak a lot of French, but 2 of them, just yesterday, we're chatting in the pool as we're swimming. And I'm learning, we're talking French politics and American politics. And, you know, it's delightful. It's really delightful. And Annecy, the beauty of this place, aside from the physical beauty, is they celebrate their culture. This is Haute-Savoie. So everything's Savoyard. So there's a festival that they have in the fall called the Retour de Page, which is where they bring all the animals down, the cows and the sheep and the ducks, and they bring them down from the high pastures because winter's coming, and then they parade them through the streets. And it was right on our street, so I was able to hang out the window and watch this hour-long parade of just everything you can imagine. The food, it's you know, the fondue capital, and it's just it's so rich in culture and
Attention à la fondue, Christy. Ne pas manger trop de fondue. Don't eat too much fondue. It's dangerous.
You know what I call it it's the fondue glue is what I call it. Attention.
C'est délicieux. C'est délicieux.
C'est très délicieux, but the fondue glue, you got to be careful. So
it's more authentic. no? More authentic.
Yes.
Uh,
And I love that.
When you plan your trip to France, like imagine that you want to go to abroad for retirement, and you plan and you plan and you watch a lot of content and you try to get ready. Those are like kind of external information. For instance, okay, Nice, does that tick the box? Hospital, big
Yes.
airport, etc. Expat community, if that's the criteria. Like, you know, you kind of see things through a cold perspective. But what
Yes.
you are teaching us is that for you, and especially as a sensitive person, you operated with your gut. You arrived there, it was new, and like it kind of, I do feel that sometimes when I arrive in a place and I'm like, wow, you feel it with your intuition. That's something special here, and so you had a tremendous amount of flexibility for you to, and Nasser, your husband as well, because the dynamic is, you know, it's two people to actually shift and open yourself to this option. It's kind of a big thing, especially since you already did Toulouse and then Nice, and you were like, okay, maybe in French we actually say jamais deux sans trois.
Jamais
Never
deux
two.
sans trois.
Ouais, jamais deux sans trois. So it's like when you do things twice, you have to do like a third time. So it was like you had like already Toulouse, Nice, so you had to do like a third move to find a place that really matched with you.
Yes, and like I said, we came here to go on vacation. We did not come here thinking we were going to find an apartment. And you know, it was just that one phone call to Sabine who it turned everything around. And here's Alexia, who's kind of got a dilemma on her hands where she needs to find somebody who will move in for 10 months. Now, all that said, our lease is up in July, and we're going to have to figure out what we want to do next. So one of the things that I really want to convey to people who are thinking of making this move, a couple of things. One, be prepared to pivot. And this is a perfect example of that. It was always, we loved Nice, but we thought we couldn't find a place there. So we started in Toulouse. Toulouse wasn't right for us. So we went back to Nice. Nice wasn't right for us, unbeknownst to us. We were like the last ones to know that Nice wasn't going to be right for us. We had to pivot, because to not pivot, we would have failed. And look at where we ended up. We ended up in a place where even Nasser, who loves the big city, it's 4 hours 3 hours and 45 minutes by train nonstop from here to Paris. We can go there anytime we want. We go for a day or 2 days or whatever. So he gets the big city, I get the quiet, peaceful life. Had we not been willing to pivot, had we just said, nope, Nice has to be it, and that's because we have this, and like you said, it's kind of a cold set of criteria. We were willing to say, we got nowhere else to go, let's explore it. How bad can it be? And we were willing to go through and follow through with what was offered us. But I would also say not only the pivot part is really important, but I know a lot of people come here and again, I'm not judging, and I'm not going to give somebody advice that's unwanted, but from my perspective, and I've seen people do this and regret it. There is a mindset in the United States of, you're not really living where this isn't your home unless you own your home. And there's a big push to own a home, to come here and immediately buy. And I understand that from the perspective of, then I don't ever have to worry about not being able to find a rental. And that's becoming more and more prevalent. Finding rentals is hard. And a way to kind of, circumvent that is to buy your own apartment or buy your own home. I understand that. But what I would say is, give yourself at least a year before you do that, because you, like us, if we had bought in Toulouse, it wouldn't have worked out for us. If we had bought in Nice, it wouldn't have worked out for us. So, give yourself some time. This is a process. This is not like, I'm moving from, South Dakota to California, so I'm going to sell my house and buy something here. It's a different country. It's a different culture. It's a different lifestyle, language.
And there is all the fees that's involved and the situation for heritage, legacy. So it's kind of a big decision as well.
It's a big deal. It is. And if you're not sure, and the thing that I would say around that is, this is not vacation. And I was very, very guilty of this. I was like, well, we spent 3 months all together in Nice before we came. And, we know the bus system, we know the bus line, we know all of this stuff. But we knew it from the perspective of vacation. We didn't know it from the perspective of setting up our life there. And even as we celebrate today, being the 1 year anniversary of our coming here, I'm so grateful we didn't buy, because the other thing is, we would never have been able to explore all these different areas, And so it's been really,
journey.
it is a
like
journey. So don't be in a rush. I guess what I'm saying is I see a lot of Americans, like they come here and they're like, I just sold my house in the United States. Now I need to buy something. Bank the money and just give yourself some time to relax and settle into the lifestyle here. And take care of all of the nonsense bureaucracy that you have to take care of. First, get your carte vitale, get your social security number, get, your renewal going, get all of those things done, and then travel, spend some time figuring out, I liked Nice, but we couldn't find an apartment there. And now I realize I never wanted to be in Nice. This is where I belong. So you have to stay open to that. So I understand the impulse because it is an American mindset to want to own a home. That's how you put down roots. But I would also say there is so much benefit in giving yourself the space and the freedom and the time to feel your way around. Because as you said, you can go into a city and go, nope, we knew in Toulouse, as beautiful as Toulouse is, we immediately knew this is not for us. The vibe was just not for us. And in Nice, Nasser liked it more than I did. I didn't love the heat of the summer. I didn't like the crowds. I could have made it work, but Nice didn't want us. So we came here. So it's like there's just, and Lord knows what's going to happen in July if we decide, to stay in Annecy, whatever we decide to do, that's going to be another journey for us. There are other cities maybe we go explore, So you just have to really keep an open mind in ways that I never had to keep an open mind in the United States.
It's interesting what you said about, experiencing after the injury, experiencing the Nice in the summer. And I received this advice from Janice in France that actually came back to the USA. And she was saying, like, if you want to move to France, go there in the... but she was mentioning Paris, so she was like, go to Paris in the deepest winter months. The worst part of the year. So maybe for Nice, the worst part of the year is like the moment where the heat is at its peak. But like for a more northern city, that would be go there in the winter when the sky is gray. And if you still like it, then it's a good test. So it would be like a good way as well to try it out. But what you said made me think of part of the reason why you guys are attracted by Europe, or if you take up the dream, let's mention like a few reference. I don't know if you saw the movie when Russell Crowe goes to Provence.
No, I never saw that.
I don't know. It's a movie that's depicts the life of a very busy man. I think he lives in London and he moves to
it's
to
the
Provence.
Peter Mail's story, which is A Year in Provence. I never saw the movie, but I read the book.
I'm not sure if it's connected with the story, but or this, or maybe in Italy, like Under the Tuscan Sun. I don't know if you saw this movie.
Oh yes, I've seen it many times. I love it.
Eat, Pray, Love, all those story of I call it escapism. And I think what attracts you is because you have, as you mentioned, American is productive. You are really much like workaholic oriented towards work, and you are great. I mean, you are so efficient, and I'm really in awe as well towards like how you guys operate. But maybe you are kind of attracted by, okay, maybe we can take it slow and we can stroll in the market, eat seasonally, les légumes et les fruits de saison. And so if you are attracted by that, maybe you should start by planning your trip in a more slowing path, as you mentioned. Start your whole journey instead of saying, okay, I move tomorrow, I move to Toulouse. Okay, let's buy a house. Let's figure everything out. So maybe it's like start from the beginning to kind of channel yourself with this slow way of traveling. And also like in French, do you know the word flâner?
Flâner. No.
It's a good word. Flâneur is the person that's flâne, and flâner is this attitude of wandering. It's like the wanderer, like you walk in the streets. You walk in the streets, you have no goal. Like the only goal is to be present and to walk, to flâner. And I think maybe this is the attitude as well that you want to experience when you move to France.
There is so much of that. There's so much support for that here. Like in the United States, everything is just go, 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 as you were saying. Here, just being present and just walk. You see so like here, I've never seen so many people when the sun comes out, everybody goes to the lake, but there's wide promenades. Everybody's walking, grandmas, grandpas with children, babies, wheelchairs, dogs. I mean, you name it. And everybody is just out for a stroll. And in Nice as well, like you would go out on the promenade, but here it's, you see so many families, and it is truly a way of life here. People love to just wander or just sit in a cafe. And that's been hard for me to adapt to, because I'm on a schedule, man. I got things to do. And when you suddenly don't have things to do, we went for an hour and a half long walk today just along the river, and we just talked, and it was just like, wow, what a gift this is. And so to have that opportunity, and that's why I say, it's like, I don't want to tell anybody what to do. You've got to do what's right for you. But the few friends that I do have that bought homes right away have really regretted it. They see us traveling and they're like, oh, well, we can't travel because we had to put in a new this, or we had to get a new hot water heater or whatever. Don't be in such a hurry to set up your life here. Like, enjoy the joie de vivre. Enjoy, that just taking your time. There's so much to see here. I'm looking at, like, right outside my window here is a church that was built, I want to say, in the 13th century. And that church, the bell chimes, it wakes me up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and every half an hour. Yeah, ding, ding, and then I can always tell what time it is, because no matter where you are in town, you can be all the way over at the lake and you can hear the bells going off and telling you. It's just that pace of life. Now, for those who have to work, I mean, that's a very different story. But people who come here as retirees, it's a big transition for sure to come here and just try and live this lifestyle. But I find France, way more so than the United States, really supports that joie de vivre. Just living, joyfully and peacefully, and in a slow style.
So could you compare the Californian Christy with the Christy from Annecy in terms of what a day would look like if you were still in California right now as a young
I think about that a lot. The difference is my life here is so incredible and wonderful. And I mean, when I walk out my door, and now I wouldn't have said this about Nice, to be fair. I would have said, yeah, it's nice, but I don't like going outside. There's too many people. It's too crowded. Occasionally I'll go out. Here, I can't wait to get out in the morning. I have literally, like, it's a 7-minute walk if I'm going slow, to my art store. I have an art store. I have a stationery store that I go to, the clothes store, my market, my little market. Everything is really, really close by. If and when we do move back to the States, and ultimately we will at some point, we after my medical experience, I don't want to age here. I don't want to live here forever. And we have kids at home in the United States. What would the day look like here compared to there? My day there is going to be very boring. My day in the United States is going to consist of, where am I driving? I usually go for a walk anyway. We have a beautiful neighborhood, and we're kind of backed up to a mountain. So there's that. That's good. I can go for a walk there. But, did you want to go to the art store? Get in your car and drive 15 minutes to the art store. Did you want to go to, there's the mall. Did you want to go to San Francisco? Okay, well, we better prepare, because that's a 45-minute drive, and then there's going to be traffic, and where are we going to park, and all of these things, where the inclination is just, I don't go as many places, I don't do as many things. Like, the environment really doesn't support. Like, if I want to go walk around the lake, I have to get in my car, and it's a 20-minute drive to a very, very small lake.
It's the way the cities are designed.
Yes.
It's like it's so much, so it's spread in the US. I'm currently in New Zealand, and it's the same. You cannot survive without a car. It's like
exactly.
Every time I'm like, can we walk? And it's like, no way, it's too long.
It's too far. And that I will tell you, I will find that very problematic. I had to go back. I had to make a quick trip back to the United States in November that was kind of unexpected. And I went back to my hometown. I went to see my son. The minute I got there, I was like, wow, I am not the same person that left. And I don't know, when we do go back, whenever that is, I do not know how I'm going to reconcile that. Because the me now is, oh, I'm going to run to, Franprix, which is, for me to get to Franprix, I have to walk through this courtyard with this ancient church next to me, and then a bunch of little darling shops, and then I walk along the canal, and then I go over a footbridge. It's literally like, it blows my mind how beautiful it is. And I walk in, and they're so kind and so nice. The French people are incredibly, incredibly nice and forgiving people. And I do my shopping, and then I'm like, oh, and I go around the corner. There's a store here called Sostren Gren, which I think is a Dutch store or a Danish store. I'm not sure. Oh my gosh. I go in there, and I can't even tell you. I just little knick-knacky stuff, like crafting stuff, watercolor stuff, like little tiny things that I just love to buy, and then I get sidetracked, and the next thing you know, I'm in this store, and then I have to stop by, the bakery, and
So you
you know,
are une flâneuse. The word I
I
said before,
am,
that's you. You became a
I
flâneuse.
am, and I don't know how I'm going to reconcile that. I'll be honest with you. I think there's going to be a major depression coming when that day comes. So I try to enjoy every single moment of every day, even when it's raining or snowing outside. Um, I don't care. I make sure that I get out every day, and I just love I'm not gonna say I love every moment of being in France. There's a lot of stuff that I don't like, but in terms of my environment here, I've just never lived in a place that I felt more at peace. And so, it's will I be happy to be near closer to my kids? Of course. Will I be happy to see my friends back home? Of course. I have some amazing women friends that I can't wait to be able to have time with again, because we're aging, we're getting older, and so I'm excited about that. But will I miss France? Hands down, I
So
will. Like,
imagine if you go back, when you go back to the US, because it's clear for you that there is an ending point. So when
yes.
you are going back, I know we are influenced by our surroundings, and our surroundings like literally like shape our lifestyle. But do you think that there is definitely some part of you that you can bring back to the US? Is there something that changed permanently wherever you be? Do you think there is any transformation, like deep transformation that happened?
You ask the best questions, Deborah. Like,
It's just
that's
you
a
that inspire me.
question. I hope so. I mean, I will say I definitely feel different. I feel calmer. I feel like I see the world differently. Like the world is in a pretty chaotic place right now. But I might get emotional when I say this, but the thing about being here is that whatever's going on politically, it's almost like it's a game that's exclusive to them and not to us, although the real impact is to us, we the people. But the people of France, I will carry that back with me. I will carry their kindness back with me. I feel like there is a sense of hope that I have based on the support that I've gotten from people in France. And when we've traveled, I mean, when we've traveled to different, even we were in Dubai, and people, cab drivers, I felt the support of those people who said, we're so sorry for what's happening to your country. Like, we're watching and we're horrified. And what I will take back with me is knowing and having this sense of faith and hope that the world is a good place, that the people of the world are good and kind. And I always sort of knew that in Santa Rosa when I lived there, but, and I have my community there, but now I have this confirmation of living in all these different places and meeting all these different people from all over the world, meeting Sabine, meeting some of, the other friends that I've made here that are not American, and even the Americans that I've met, knowing that we are united in our humanity. I will take that back in a way that I didn't fully understand when I lived there. And I know that's something that gives me hope and faith for where this whole global situation is going.
Espoir.
If that makes sense.
Merci, Christy. Thank you for sharing something so intimate. And I find probably when you decided to start this journey, what attracted you was not necessarily the people. Maybe
No.
it was the landscapes, the architecture,
Yes.
the old churches, all of those things that we see in the picture. And it's interesting that it's something else that you actually found on the top of all the most beautiful things. And
yes, for sure. And there's a comfort. There is a comfort that I feel that I know that there are people when I go home that I will never lose touch with. And they have already proven, like Sabine, for example, she still checks in. I still check in with her. Like, she cares about us. We care about her. And, there've been several people along the way that we've made friends with, a couple in Nice that were so helpful. And they're from Romania. They're Canadian Romanians. And I mean, just like, I have to, it really shrinks down when they say the world is a global village. I mean, it really truly is. It shrinks the world down in a way that is, like, even people that I struggle, our neighbors, some of our neighbors in our building here, we struggle to speak, but by gosh, we communicate. And when there's a problem, if I need a problem, I know where to find Eric, and Eric he'll he'll do whatever we need from, like I know that if there was a problem, I could go to him. And even though we would piece together whatever, Franglish we could, he's that kind of person. Yeah, he's that kind of person. And I know there are two or other people in our building who I don't really speak much with, but if I needed something, they would be there for me. And so there is that kind of, collective humanity that really gives me faith and hope about where the world is going.
Merci for these positive notes. It's, I think, again, a lot of people are going to relate to what you are saying. And I don't know, I think you've been there longer than I am, but I think this very time in history is very, very tense and very uncertain. And I think your words are going to warm some hearts.
I hope so.
And we could talk forever, Christy, but I can see that it's been a while, and I wanted to plug us in with the French language. Can you share with us, and please, I know sometimes it's a bit embarrassing to speak French on camera, but could you share with us like some sentences that you love and some sentences that you find that are very handy? Maybe for people who are completely beginner, maybe they get inspired and I can write the sentences down, like your go-to sentences for, your daily life in Annecy.
It's such a hard thing because it's one thing to just memorize things, but it's another thing to, I keep adding on. And so I am nowhere near fluent. Trust me, I am. And I still freeze up, frequently. But I find that, in fact, I had, Nasser, I'll just give you a little scenario. Nasser met a man in the swimming pool who is a retired orthopedic surgeon, and I think he's in his 80s. Very impressive man. He speaks English. His wife doesn't speak any English at all, and we keep seeing each other. She's lovely. So the men were talking. We were walking in the sunshine, and the men were talking, and so she and I are walking along, and I'm like, So she just started speaking to me in French, and I was plucking things out, and then I was telling her she had this really cute shirt on, sweater. So I was like, j'adore le pull. And I'm like, did I just say I like your sweater? And she's like, oh, merci, merci. And she started telling me, I think her daughter bought it for her. And she just went on. And I was like, okay, so like that came out of nowhere. So, if you want to compliment somebody, you can say, j'adore le style. Like, I love your style, because, oh my God, do the French know how to be stylish, J'adore le style. Style? Yeah, j'adore le style. But what I will tell you is, as you will hear, anybody who's listening, ad nauseum, always a bonjour, always a merci, au revoir. When you get off the bus, merci, au revoir. Up here, they didn't do it in Nice, but up here, you do not leave that bus. And you're always getting out on the back, you're not up front. You always say merci, au revoir, and it's delightful. But one thing that I have learned to say, and it has gotten me off the hook in so many circumstances, is I will say, je désolé, like when someone starts speaking to me in French, like if I'm in a store or if I'm going to order something, je désolé, I'm sorry. Je parle un peu français. I don't speak a lot of French, mais j'essaie, but I'm trying. So, je désolé, je parle un peu français, mais j'essaie. That, they immediately, like the guard goes down on my side, on their side, and then they'll say sometimes, and I'll say, vous parlez l'anglais? And they'll say, oui or no. And then they'll say, on peut. Usually what they say is when I say, vous parlez l'anglais, they say, oh, on peut. And I'm like, oh, on peut, on peut. And then we just kind of, we laugh, and then we just kind of find our way through. And there's a restaurant that we go to, and he's like, I am going to speak French to you. And I said, thank you. Where we go to the gym, the lady finally said to me, do you want me to speak French to you? And I said, oui, merci beaucoup. Yes, please, like speak French to me. Make me work for it. Like, otherwise I'm not going to do it. So that one is probably my biggest one, is I always say, sorry, I don't speak French very well. Sometimes I say, pas très bien, not very well. Mais j'essaie, but I'm trying. And they always, oh, no, madame, you speak perfect French. I'm like, no, I do not.
Non, parce que votre prononciation, your pronunciation is good.
Oh, good, thank you.
We do say, though, je suis désolée, je suis désolée.
Je suis désolée. Ah, so not just je désolée. Je suis désolée.
Je suis. Like
so I dropped a word there. Okay, so now they know I really don't speak.
But people, it's fine. It's just because I have this ear, teacher here, and but je suis désolée.
I love it. I'll take any constructive criticism.
But I think the key part here is j'essaye. because that's all people want. They want the bridge, le pont, and that's what you need for connection. Yes, you are here. You don't speak the language yet, but you are trying. J'essaie,
Yes.
and that's what
J'essaie.
people, as you say, it breaks the ice, and it's like I'm trying, and you know, like if you haven't learned French before, and you are here, and you are on the older years, and maybe you don't speak any foreign language. I'm working with people 50+ learners, and
Yes.
what we come to the conclusion that yes, that's your situation, and maybe you won't be C1, C2 level. Maybe it will take a longer time. But what matters is that is the connection, la connexion. And
Oui.
also, as you mentioned, and I think that thank you for saying it, the survival. So that's why my course is called Survive and Thrive in France, because the survival part, handling medical emergency, practicalities in your life without requiring a relocation agency every morning.
What Christy just shared is something I hear all the time. In my one-to-one sessions with expats over 50, the same situations come up again and again. Talking to the delivery man, dealing with everyday admin, going to the hairdresser, feeling blocked in simple conversations. Not because your French is bad, but because real French is real. After years of teaching and coaching, I decided to put all of this experience together and built a course designed specifically for you and for your daily life in France. It will be very, very practical and empowering. Right now, I'm in the creation phase and I'd love to co-create it with you. I've put together a Google form below where you can tell me what you really struggle with and what would make French easier and more confident for you. There is no commitment. By filling the form, you'll be added to the waiting list for the first cohort, get priority access and a special launch price as a thank you, merci, for helping me build the best possible course for expats over 50. That's going to be really good for you. If daily life in France sometimes feels harder than it should because of the language, this is for you. Merci beaucoup.
All of that, it's for as well for your nervous system, for feeling at ease and feeling that the experience could be durable. It's not something that you know that you can actually see yourself and project yourself
Yes.
for many years. I think to have that sorted it's essential.
I agree with you, and I think for anybody who's thinking of making the move, the one thing that if I had one thing to say to anybody who's thinking about making this move, get in touch with you, because honestly, without French, yes, you can get by barely. And who wants to live in that environment? Who wants to live in an environment where you're barely getting by? Don't come here thinking I'll just pick it up as I go along, because it doesn't. French is c'est très difficile pour Américains. C'est très difficile. It's very difficult for Americans. You guys are dropping letters and putting extra letters and everything's masculine or feminine, and so I'm trying to perfect the le. I'm trying to find something in between so I don't offend anybody, or the an in. It's like if I can find a word that kind of blends the two, then I won't offend anybody. But honestly, it's a very, very complex language. But when you have an interaction like, j'adore le pull. I'm like, I just said that. And I was darling. It was this really cute sweater. And she was so flattered by that. And then, of course, she rattled off a bunch of stuff. And I got daughter, gift, cadeau, fille, and something else. And I'm like, okay, so her daughter gave it to her as a gift. And I'm like, oh, c'est bon.
The takeaway is like l'ouverture, like the openness, because
yes.
You are learning through the language, you are learning the culture because of our expressions, the way we frame things is different, the translation that cannot be made. I think you are kind of in an exploration, and I think that's one of the pleasures to live abroad. You are a learner, and like every day when you step out of the house, you are going to learn a new word, un nouveau mot. You are going to learn like a new landscape, a new person, a new word. But definitely la langue, the language is part of the experience.
C'est fou. C'est fou is one of my other favorite ones.
C'est fou.
Crazy.
C'est fou. Yeah, you say that a lot, or you hear people saying that?
I hear people say that in ça marche.
Ça marche. Ça marche.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah,
I hear that one a lot. Yeah, and c'est fou, I do hear it from time to time. I hear that. The kids are talking.
there is regionalism. There are also expressions that they are kind of comes with a town or a city or a region. I don't know if you saw some differences between Nice and Annecy in terms of what French people are saying. Do you hear
No,
like different expressions?
no, because honestly, in Nice, it's such an international community that it's very hard to really, it was hard for me to really connect with anybody French. There's so many nationalities there because it's such a tourist destination in terms of just everywhere you go. It's all, and the thing about Nice is that it's tourism all the time. It's, almost 12 months out of the year. Right now, they're coming up on Carnival. And so February you would think would be a slow month, but it's Carnival. And then you have the Citron, the Fête du Citron in Menton, and then you've got the Flower Festival. There's just so much going on there. So in Nice, it was very hard to connect with anybody French. In fact, my doctor was Middle Eastern. My shoulder surgeon was Italian. My physiotherapist was Italian. So I didn't really have a lot of exposure to French people. Yeah, but up here. Yeah. All lots and lots of French people, and really interesting, fun kind. This woman that I was telling her I liked her sweater, it turns out her husband says, yeah, my wife's a brain surgeon. I'm like, okay. Like,
wow.
Well, no, I beg your pardon. He was the orthopedic surgeon, and she said she was a brain surgeon, and I was like, oh. And then I said something silly like, j'adore la femme avec, like, c'est bon.
Du cerveau.
Like, I like smart women is what I was trying to say, and I bombed it, but she just started laughing. She thought that was hilarious. But it's fun to piece the words together.
I like your spirit because I think what is challenging for many people like you is also, I imagine that as a professional, you were top of your game, you had such an expertise, and you are very intelligent, is to accept later in life to be un débutant. A complete beginner. Yes. I think it's hard. Sometimes for some people it might be, I don't know if you are proud, fier, to accept that you don't know, and to accept that your personality in a very French setting is going not to shine as much as usual, and you are going to not be able to express yourself fully. All of that are part of like a new mindset that you are going to have to develop.
Yes, and that's a very, very good point. I saw a little reel on, I don't know, Instagram or something, and it was a woman who was speaking to another woman, and she said something with an accent, and her friend kind of giggled, and she's like, oh, no, it's not that, this is how we pronounce it. And the woman just got very, very sad, and she said, it really kind of broke my heart, and it gave me a whole different perspective on language learning, especially as an older person. She said, do you know how smart I am in my own language? Do you know how intelligent I am in my own language? And yet when I say one wrong word in your language, you giggle and you laugh, and I get it. You don't mean anything by it, but I'm a really smart person in my own language. And so it really made me, like, when I meet people like you, for example, who have a command of the English language that is superb. You speak French.
My pronunciation?
No.
Like the accent is very strong.
But I love your accent. But what I'm saying is, my husband speaks 3 languages fluently, and I have such an incredible respect for people who are able to flip those switches on and off. When we were in Dubai, I found myself, my internal dialogue was starting to be in French, which I thought was really interesting because I wasn't speaking French to anybody. But when I was hearing all these other languages, I would respond in my mind in French. And I'm like, oh, that's so interesting that it's just becoming, it's like an overlay or like a blanket of French around me. I can understand way more than I can speak, but it's becoming part of my just daily, just course of my day is hearing French. And I kind of missed it when we were out of the country. And so I have a tremendous amount of respect for people who can do that. And I don't feel dumb that I can't. I just am mad at myself that I'm not better at it, but that's my fault. Like I should have gotten busier. I should have taken it much more seriously than I did when I was preparing to come here.
It seems different, but I'm getting to the point. Have you heard of astrocartography?
Yes, you told me about that. Yes, it sounds really interesting.
You believe it or not, but I find it interesting for people who actually move. It's like I don't know if I explained it very well, but it's like astrology mixed with the map of the world, and you have, according to your signs, you have lines, and like that goes through certain region. I heard from a person that's doing that you don't imagine you have a line that goes through France. That means that there is a special connection that you may have with France. And the person told me you don't necessarily need to live in the country to get the connection with the energy of the country. And I was just thinking of the day when Nasser and you are going to get back to your home country, close to your children. One way to keep friends with you, the logical way, is to keep friends through the language, because you'll be over there. And I know a lot of people are Francophile at heart. They love the language, but they love the culture. They love France, or France. It could be we have also other region like where we speak French, like Belgium, Switzerland, the islands, and Africa. And, it's like the francophonie. And some people are really like Francophile at heart. And even from abroad, they go to the Alliance Française, to some schools, and they connect with other Francophile. And maybe you will connect in California with people who also lived in France or study there, and you will bond around, your little experience, or go to the French bakery together. So there is a way to keep the connection. And even if you plan your trip, you can already plug yourself with the French culture from abroad. Also, maybe that's
a great point. And I do think that I probably, whenever that is that we go back, I think that I will keep up. I will keep going, because when I see Nasser, he switches, from Arabic to Farsi to English, bing, 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 depending on who he's talking to. I want to be able to at least be able to speak 2 languages. Like, I'm not too old to learn a second language. And I know that's what your focus is on, teaching people who are older learners. So it is something that to take up, to challenge your brain in that way. And there is a feeling of just like that victorious feeling when I was able to say something as simple as, I like your sweater. You know what I mean? That felt so good to me, because I'm like, as silly as that was, I was able to connect with her in that moment, and I was able to say something kind and sincere. I meant it. It was authentic. And, there was a connection made there, and she knows I'm not fluent and I know she's not fluent. So these little hits where we can connect, we both felt that joy. It was like, look, like we can be friends,
Merci beaucoup. Thank you so much for all your words. And oh my God, we spoke for so long, but
I know,
we are really... I know there was a lot of comments, like more than 300 comments in the former video. So there are questions that I extracted from the video, and we can talk about it in another video to answer those questions. If you want to, let's conclude this long chat together with maybe last time you inspired us with a Beatle quote that was amazing. So is there like something that you want to give to the listener that could conclude this chat and your experience and like your feedback of your own story? As you mentioned, every story is singular, but from your perspective, is there any piece of, I don't know, a line or anything you want to share?
There's been so much to this year, highs and lows, deep joy and deep sadness and pain and all suffering, all of the stuff, everything that life is. And so what I would say is, if you're contemplating making this move, or if you're already here, be present for the experience to the degree that you're able to. Don't shy away from it, because whether you're thinking about coming, or you're already here, the fact that this is even part of your consciousness is really something you owe it to yourself to explore. And even if it just means learning a language, or reading more books about France until you can decide what you want to do, or whatever that looks like, if you feel drawn to this culture, or if you feel drawn to doing something big in your life, it doesn't even have to be France, but really honor yourself by following through with that, because it's going to be fun, but it's going to be scary, and it's going to be joyful, but it's also going to be sad. There's just, and what I'm realizing is that this is life. And so what I would say to anybody is, just like, don't let yourself down. Don't have that regret of, I think it was a little too hard. It is hard, but the joy that comes with it is amazing. But the most important thing is to know yourself. And I think we talked about this. Like, my mantra for 2026 is know thyself. And that means journaling. That means talking to yourself. That means going for long walks and thinking. And don't be afraid to try things. I mean, you could come here, spend a year here, and decide this isn't for me, but wow, what an experience, you know? There's no shame in that. You know, don't ever feel like I'm going to come to France and I have to stay there for the rest of my life. We're not staying for the rest of our lives. I don't think we ever really thought that this was a permanent destination for us, but boy, have we had a fantastic experience. So don't sell yourself short. If this is something you want to do, try it, but be aware that it's way more than vacation. And it can be whatever you make it. My other word is pivot. Like, just be prepared to pivot. If it's not working for you, don't make yourself suffer in one location. Like, go somewhere else. It's a big country, and oh my word, are there just diverse climates, diverse environments. Like, you can be like, being up in the Alps is heaven for me. For somebody else it'd be too cold. Go down to the sea. There's just so much to see here. So don't sell yourself short. And if it's something that you feel compelled to do, even if it's for 6 months, even if it's for 3 months, like, don't say no to yourself for any other reason than, like, physically I can't or financially I can't right now. But really, don't sell yourself short. Don't I'm going to do a double negative. Don't not do it for any other reason than, like, just a physical thing. Like, it's important, I think, to really honor whatever that is in you, but just know it's probably most likely not going to turn out at all the way that you thought it was going to turn out. And that's the joy in it, because I was the spreadsheet queen, man. I had spreadsheets, as we talked about before. Nothing turned out. If you had told me a year ago today, when I got on that plane in San Francisco and I flew to France for my new life here, there is no way in hell I would have agreed that if you told me I'd be living in Annecy. So don't be afraid. Make the leap.
It's not about the destination. It's about the journey.
It's about the journey. And the last thing I will say is, this is one of my favorite quotes from Kenny Loggins, who is a musician in the United States. I can't remember what song it is, but he said, when you make that jump, don't be afraid, because when you make that leap, you are either going to land on your feet or you're going to learn how to fly.
Oh, wow. Merci, Christy. I think that's perfect to end the call that actually lasted longer than expected, but you are I just love listening to you, and the same for all the people that watched us for the first video and are going to be so happy to find you again here. So merci du fond du cœur, from the bottom of my heart. Merci beaucoup, Christy.
Merci, vous êtes très gentil. Merci.
Ah, une autre phrase. Merci beaucoup. À bientôt, Christy.
Bonne soirée. Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Merci beaucoup, Christy. I'm really honored you came back to keep voicing your story and share it with all of us. If you are thinking you too about moving abroad, or you're already in the middle of planning, I've created something that might help you pause and reflect, and that's thanks to Christy. It's called Passport to Clarity. It's a free journaling workbook with prompts to explore your mindset, your motivations, and how ready you really feel for change. You'll find the link below or at feelgoodfrench.com. And if you'd like more support, you can also check out my course that I mentioned before, Survive and Thrive in France, especially created for expats over 50 to build a new life here. If this episode resonated with you, feel free to leave a comment. I'd love to hear about your insights, or even share this episode with someone who might be on a similar journey. And of course, you can sign up to the channel. That will mean a lot. Merci beaucoup for your listening, and à très bientôt.